Hello, my name is Eric Bielakiewicz. I am the director, cinematographer, and editor of the film The Wanderer, and joined with me is the main actor, Michael Ulysses Brogdon, and Sean Sanguinet.
Oh, Sean's in this.
Yeah, he's in this.
I'm also here. I'm here as well, everyone.
And today we're going to be doing a sort of director's commentary, which I think is a very fun thing I've always wanted to try. I think, should we break it down scene by scene, or should we just talk while it's rolling? And then
I think we can just talk while it's rolling.
Talk while it's rolling.
Okay.
More
All right.
fun.
Cooler, more aloof.
Yeah, and then we'll do some thoughts afterwards. But I guess first let's talk about like what sort of are your thoughts on the final product of the film? What was your sort of reaction to certain stuff in the film upon first seeing it? I must say, like seeing yourself. Do you think you yourself, Brog, did a very good job in the film?
I'm a lot more scruffy looking than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I wish I had memorized sign language.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the sign language you learned was very passable.
Yeah.
I think
no one's gonna criticize your sign language and be like, "Oh, this dude is like so dumb when it comes to sign language." Like,
and then my favorite part of the film is when Sean dies. I almost laughed.
Yeah. I stood up and cheered because I thought it was real for a second. And then
I did like an Orson Welles like slow clap into fast clap.
Yeah. I wish I could have caught that moment in slow motion, but
yes.
There's always the next film.
My favorite moment was a deleted scene with an epic explosion that we'll never see again.
Yeah. Well, it's still in there, but like it's a different.
It's never going to be as.
It's never going to be the same.
It's never going to be as good as the original.
Got it, man.
We'll put it in the director's cut.
In the director's cut, yeah, the final cut. It's going to be like a Blade Runner 4-hour cut.
We did actually blow something up for this movie, but we deleted the footage so as not to implicate us in any crimes.
Yeah, lost a few fingers actually. So
lost a few. Yes.
I killed at least 6 orphans.
Yeah, at least 6 orphans.
At least I don't remember about the another 58.
Oh, rookie numbers.
Yeah, you gotta get those numbers up, man. All right, we've wasted enough time. Let's watch this wonderful film.
I'll get my bourbon ready.
Light your candles.
Light my candles, pour my shots of vodka, and go to town.
Yeah.
Hey Eric, where did that production name come from?
It actually came from a trailer I did in high school. It was for a fake film called 13 Mansion Road, which is this abandoned mansion in my town, and it was about these 3 kids exploring it. And I didn't know what I wanted my production company name, so I literally did a production company name generator, and that was one of the first results. And the rest is history.
Okay. That's how Childish Gambino got his name.
Yeah.
Describe your inspiration for making this product.
My inspiration? I'll pause it real quick just so we can kind of talk about this a bit more. So my inspiration behind making this was I originally... back in high school, I had this idea for a film called The Last Man, where this guy, like obviously not in a post-apocalyptic setting, but like a dystopian where it's kind of like that episode of The Twilight Zone where everyone's just gone and this one man's kind of just wandering around. I guess that was kind of like the prototype of this film, and then. Fast forward a few years, we get sent home because of COVID. We never got to make that wonderful film, Mr. Sean, but we will this semester. I really had an itch to do a film, and I really wanted to do a film. Yeah, I wanted to do a film. We had put so much effort into Somewhere Only We Know. I just was like, fuck it, I'm still making a film this semester, even if it goes past the semester, and it ended up going past it, but I wrote a script in like a week. I planned out some shooting days, and the rest is kind of history. So the shooting days were originally going to shoot over 4 days, but we were only able to shoot 2 out of the 4. Where we did the fight scene and the end beach part, and we did I think we did the Rutland stuff and the Rollstone Hill stuff on the second day, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
The Rutland stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it snowed I think it was 12 inches, and I was praying to God all the snow would melt, because otherwise we'd have to film in the spring. Fortunately it did, and we filmed again 3 weeks later in the tunnel, which I think is the best looking of all the different parts. I think you and I did a really good job on that part, Brog.
Yeah. I was halfway, I was halfway to Wakefield when you texted me and said, we don't have to film today. And it was in the middle of a snowstorm.
Wait, what?
And I banged, yeah.
Oh, man.
And I banged a Yui. But I stopped there to scout. It wasn't all for naught, because I stopped there to scout for a lake for a short film that I was planning to do. But then it turned out to be all for naught when that film got canceled.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, pause it again, Sean. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
What I have for breakfast?
What'd you have? Yeah, what'd you have for breakfast?
Good question.
That's epic.
That's great.
This location here, the first scene, was an awesome location. I still wish there was more to it, though. It's
You know, we filmed the Kids in the Back skit, the Omniscient one here.
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought something was familiar about that. That's a good location.
Yeah.
Even just the surrounding areas. I was kind of disappointed with some of the buildings. I thought it'd be a lot bigger, but and the facility itself was a lot bigger, but obviously a lot of it was torn down. So all that was left was this location here, the solitary confinement, and then over in this area where these trees are, there's this potato storage area where a bunch of prisoners would obviously peel potatoes, and that'd be where they store them. And then there was this tunnel area over here where it just leads to a dead end. I just, it's good that this is in a public park. I, again, just wish there was more to this. It was still a great location, though. And I'd definitely go back here.
Definitely.
Very great.
And this scene, too, also had a couple of different iterations. If you remember some of the cuts I sent you, Brog, where the text sort of faded in to a different shot, but I cut it because of pacing.
Yeah.
A lot of this was actually, the editing of the film actually, a lot of this was a lot more dragged out, especially these first couple shots. And I'm kind of glad I cut it for pacing.
I kind of would have liked to seen you with done those longer takes. I mean, it would have made the pacing suck, but I would have liked to seen it, because
This would have been 45 minutes long if we had the entirety of those cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but also
I also understand that.
Yeah, my brother, I was actually, for chapter 1, me and my brother sat down, we watched it, and he offered a lot of good insight on pacing. Even though he's not really a film major, he just said this is too dragged out. I think you should cut it a bit better for pacing, because I mean, I feel like this stuff, it doesn't need to be too long. I feel like the pacing works very fine, and I learned with this project that sometimes cutting for pacing is a lot better than cutting for continuity, which I think both is important, but I think they both have different circumstances. I think this was...
That was a real fish that I ate, by the way. When I ate that fish, that was real.
It was a real fish.
I made a comment saying that was Michael Brogdon's Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant moment.
Yeah.
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 This is also a real bandana.
Yeah.
It's not a fake one.
Not a fake bandana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from a real bandana
also
farm.
a real speck of dust that flew across the screen right there.
I liked
All
the
authentic.
dust. I liked all the dust that came up from this. This created some good footage.
Yeah, it gave a depth sort of to the light.
It added the.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it made perfect
It
sense.
made perfect sense, yeah. And my main thing for chapter 1 was to basically so actually let me sort of backtrack a bit. So the cinematography style of this is kind of a
Just
blend
off.
between like these wide sweeping shots and these more personal close-up shots that are more handheld. Actually, we'll sidetrack a bit. I had to digitally zoom in this shot because a tripod just over here was in shot.
Oh,
Interesting.
But yeah, I mix like a blend of these kind of shots with these more handheld personal shots, and I feel like with chapter 1, I wanted it to be more of like a day in the life, like what goes on with the wanderer as he's wandering through this landscape. And I feel like that really helped build his character a bit and made him a bit more like sympathetic.
Sorry to interrupt, but Brog, when you were playing this character, what was mainly your inspiration, and like how did you formulate the character of the Wanderer?
Yeah.
oh, I'm basically the wanderer already, just ragged and tired, just listing aimlessly through existence. So it wasn't that hard.
One of the things too, this was like a film that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do a film for the sake of doing a film, and I did not do like obviously I wrote a script, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do for shots, but that was about it. There was no rehearsals. We did some location scouting with the tunnel, which was awesome, but other than that, we were kind of just improvising. And Brock, I think some of the stuff you do just breathes so much life into that character, and you really got into his role. So I'm very thankful that you were able to do that.
Yeah, you really made the character like a person. You didn't just make him like some guy.
And there was
Even though-
there was no rehearsal either. It was magic. It was straight magic.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate that.
Michael Brogdon is just the good actor.
Yeah. Oh, here comes a part Sean hates.
I absolutely despise this.
That part?
No.
Boop.
I hate that so much.
Oh, the tripod get knocked a bit.
I can't look at that scene the same anymore because it just
So that was originally a moving shot, but I had to kind of extend it out a bit because the other stuff wasn't really in focus. Like I said, if I had planned this out a bit better and I had a shot sheet and we had a bit more time at this location, I feel like I could have gotten better B-roll than what I had. It saved the audience from a lot of out of focus or admittedly worse shots than that. So I feel like it was a small price to pay.
I will never forgive you.
I only just noticed that giant gaping hole in the background. I saw it when we
Yeah.
were there, but
Oh, there's just a
Forgot that-
gaping hole in the background.
There is.
that's the tunnel. Remember the shot where I light a match and I go through? That's the
Yeah, there was
That's
like
that
these,
tunnel.
there was like these little like patches of light that like shone through the tunnel, and these are the holes that caused them. So I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. And then back here is like the foundation. I think that the prison was built on too. So that part's still there. Other than that, like it's not really much. The park is beautiful though. I will say that.
Alright, geez, I better get home.
Oh, the pizza rolls are in the oven.
This technically makes my character a caveman.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
The void.
Like, this was one of the few shots in the film. The minute I saw this location for the first time, I was like, I gotta get a shot like this.
Yeah. That crane down I really like.
I
I
love
thought
it.
that looked really good, especially with like the bright white light.
Wait, that's not a crane down, that's a pan down. Whatever.
No,
Yeah.
it's a crane.
It's a tilt,
a
I
crane
think,
down?
but it's whatever.
Oh, a tilt. Okay.
It's no big deal.
Eric, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, it's not your fault. You're a complete idiot when it comes to
It's always Sean's fault whenever you mess up filmography stuff.
It's always
Sean's
my fault.
It's always Sean's
It
fault.
is. It is.
Blame
It is.
Sean.
You're right.
Just blame Sean. He's a trickster like that.
I do be Loki.
You do be Loki? Where's Thor?
Dead. I killed him.
Ooh.
Oof. Save it for Avengers 75.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
let's talk about this location for a sec. What was your experience filming here, Brug, for the audience? Like, describe it best.
So this is the opposite end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long tunnel. There's no light, so you're just walking through this really dark, graffiti-covered tunnel.
Yeah.
And neither of us were saying it, neither me or Eric, but we were both kind of scared to go to the other side.
I know. And like I read
creepy.
stuff that it was like haunted, and like the stuff that like they were talking about, like people who have written about it that say it's haunted, like they were saying that there was drops in temperature, there was like weird echoes. There was that stuff, and that was a little scary. And all we had, like, lighting our pathway, we could only see a few feet in front of us. So we had this lantern,
wow.
we had Brog's flashlight, but we were carrying everything. For all we knew, there could have been, like, some shirtless homeless guy with a beard who got down on all fours and chased us.
Yeah, I wasn't scared of ghosts. I was scared of like seeing a homeless man just sleeping with a knife, you know?
Yeah. It was also very, very wet at the end of this tunnel. It was raining, obviously, which is part of the film. But, man, it was just, like, damp, cold. But I thought it was still a really good location. I'm very glad we got it at this end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it was very visually interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of The Blood of the Wanderer. Was that chapter 2? That shot?
Chapter 3, yeah.
Chapter 3. I really enjoyed that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked really good.
Another thing, too, I initially had a bit of trouble lighting this scene. Originally, I thought the lantern was going to be bright enough, but it only lit for a few feet in front of you. And even with my my Sigma 30mm, which can go down to 1.4, it was still not enough, and I really couldn't nail that.
I can go down to 1.4? Damn.
Yeah. But you saved my ass because you had those lights in your bag, so I'm happy about that too.
I was worried that those lights would never come in handy.
Yeah, thank God we like. I'm gonna get some portable chargers now. I'm adding that to my priority list of gear to get because that saved, like that would have saved a lot of work for the first 2 days, and it really saved us for the other 2 filming days.
It would have either had to be like a dark scene, or we would have had to go to the wet end of the tunnel. I would just have to sit my ass down in the water and do the whole thing.
Yeah. So it was good that we had that stuff. And another thing too, my sort of inspiration for having it go black like this, I had watched a lot of short films where like a lot of people would like show stuff before the war or before like the nuclear war where things were normal and then they're running from the nukes and whatnot, which I thought was just kind of cheesy, to be honest. And I kind of wrote it as like a nightmare, like a recurring nightmare that Brog has or the Wanderer has. So I'm a big fan of how this whole thing turned out. I feel like it works a lot better.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
There's me being traumatized.
Yeah.
Can you feel just a little bit more traumatized? Just
Sorry, Sean. Do that again. Do that scene again, Brog.
Roll tape and action.
So tortured. You're so tortured.
Ooh,
This
here
time,
comes
make it
sign
your own.
language.
That red dot on your nose just like
I
pops off.
don't know what
Yeah.
that's from.
That's blood.
Yeah, I know,
There's
but like, what were we? Oh, because we bloodied up the bear. I know.
We bloodied up the bear.
Okay. I thought
Okay,
there was
also
like
go back a little bit, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want to point out my problem with the sign language. Because it's like... Like... Do you... That's fine. But miss is like I'm making a heartbreak motion with my hands. Like...
Did you break up with Annie?
Like...
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that was cool, though.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Oh yeah, this is the part where
I show off my funky fresh moves.
Yeah.
My
This shot inspired the movie poster that a lovely soul constructed for him.
That was a great poster, Sean.
It was a good poster, yeah. And this thing isn't a phone or anything. It's actually it was originally like none of us had a Walkman, so we kind of had to improvise. And Brog fortunately had this external audio recorder, which unfortunately did not survive past this scene. I'm so sorry.
It drowns. It drowns in a later scene. I'll point it out, but
yeah,
you know.
Damn. If you don't get it by next November, I'll get that for a birthday gift.
Oh, I got 2 more. I'm good.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Frozen in time.
Yeah. This
I
is
like
this is
silhouette.
probably my favorite part of the film personally. This is where it in the editing room this kind of turned from like to wow, this is I think I have something good on my hands. And I think your performance really highlights that.
That's because I said it, you said it, we all said it. Broggy is a good actor. No, I'll suck his dick and then go there.
I took salsa dances for this scene. Salsa dance lessons, I mean. I think this is the best part of the scene.
Yeah.
Is that little
I
editing
kind of
trick.
agree, I really like it.
Yeah.
For sure. I wasn't exactly sure how they would turn out in color grading, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this little rack focus up ahead wasn't necessarily intentional as my way of transitioning between him sitting down in this shot, which was out of focus, and a different shot where he's sitting down in the same spot.
Oh,
I had
that's
to match
interesting.
I had to match him up.
Yeah, I still think you should have just after the blur, it should have just stopped, and that should have been the end of the scene right there.
I don't know, I kind of like when he blows out the new one's
guess
hands
so.
and you can see the smoke.
Yeah,
I
I kind of like that pause too, personally.
Yeah.
Fair is fair, I guess.
I didn't know those were 2 separate shots. I thought the autofocus was just going nuts.
Yeah.
Also, when we were filming here, we saw so many people just like walking by.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, that was a
no.
big issue.
We tried to go off to the side, but we ended up setting up right in the middle of like another popular trail.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And on the initial upload, there was a lot of like weird encoding glitches that YouTube did, so I had to re-upload it. And I think there's still a few present, which I don't know why YouTube just does not like DaVinci like exports, but it's done this with every DaVinci export I've done, so I don't know what the cause of it is.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That backcrack I enjoy.
Yeah. And this sort of continues the idea from chapter 1 of showing the Wanderer's sort of routine.
Yeah.
Except some stuff starts to happen. As you'll see in a few minutes. And this is sort of another example of cutting for pacing, not necessarily for continuity, where I cut where Brog is holding the string with 2 fingers, and I cut between that and when he's tying the hook. So obviously, he doesn't tie it in this shot, but I cut ahead.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good, because I spent so long trying to...
And I'm so sorry for
Yeah.
cutting right when you nailed it in that wide shot. I think it was that wide shot where you were just so close and I yelled cut.
Yeah, I was like really close to getting it, but like there's no way you could tell.
Yeah. Oh. Also, this was a real fish we caught.
This is a real fish.
We caught a
actually
fish
caught
with-
fish like this. This film is what kind of made me embrace my beard.
Yeah, you look good with a beard, I will say that.
Thank you.
Legitimately.
I did
You do.
not look good with a goatee, unfortunately. I don't think
Yeah,
I
you
look
look
good.
like you look kind of like a wannabe Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I told him he looks like a school photographer.
Oh,
Originally in this shot, you could hear the boom mic hitting the different branches, so I overlaid the sounds of the stream over it.
oh, that's
I
actually
gotta-
interesting.
I gotta get better with like keeping mind of my sensitivity of the microphone, like not having it up so high, because a lot of the audio, though it captured crisp audio, I had to turn a lot of it down for it.
Did you guys record any room tone for this? So you just have like the sound of like nature or whatever?
I think we did. I feel
think
like you
we
did,
did a
Eric.
little bit. We did a little bit. I didn't do as much as I wanted to, but there's some examples I will point out.
Okay. Oh, there's the MacGuffin.
There it is.
I don't know if it's a MacGuffin because I completely break it in the next scene.
Okay. Thanks for the spoiler alert. Now people watching the director's commentary are gonna
Yeah, people watch
Exactly.
the director's commentary before they watch the actual thing.
Hey, you don't know. There's some weirdos out there. You're friends with me and Eric.
Sure.
I gotta clean my lens more because you can see like bits of dirt on here, and basically you could tell which lens I was using just by if there's dirt on the screen or not. Because my like this lens here, this is my Sigma 30mm, has no dirt on it. This I think is still the Sigma, but with other shots, especially the moving shots, you can see bits of dirt on it. So I gotta clean those bad boys.
I don't think it's too bad because people are mostly gonna focus on like Brog's character.
I want to do a full visuals, like just no dialogue film at some point during college, because, like I said,
couldn't do it. I'd want to throw up and die.
I would love to do it, honestly. I feel like, because the thing with visual storytelling too is that, like anyone in the world can watch it and understand what's going on. No need for subtitles, honestly. I don't know. I love it. Call me a Wally nerd.
I just couldn't do it.
But
Good
there's
luck,
some
give me
stuff that I
updates.
needed dialogue for, like this part.
Oh, this is the Alfred Hitchcock moment right here.
Everclean.
Everclean.
Going back, I definitely would have cleaned this area up a bit and eliminated a lot of those distractions.
I will say this: your scruffy goatee does not match your pretty flat hair.
Yeah,
No shade. I mean, it works.
it's not a pretty picture.
It's business. It's business up top, party in the face.
And I don't know what I was doing with my hand here, but like, did you see that? Like
Just
how
rubbing your
it,
face.
just how I rub my face like that.
You're getting the grease off your face.
Yeah,
I
you're wiping
guess.
off sweat from the nervousness of the raccoons.
Yeah.
Raccoons.
So what are you looking up? Is the Strider in the beams? Is he on the
He's up in the
catwalk?
rafters and he jumps
okay.
down. Obviously, I couldn't show
Remember that
that.
one scene from Men in Black where Tommy Lee Jones looks up and the guy's just attached to the ceiling? It's like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
I could have done a bit more with the color and making these areas not so blown out, but I also really like this shot.
Yeah, this shot is really good. I live for the good wide shot, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess you're a Breaking Bad fan, because that show has long those.
Only a little bit. Only a little bit.
I like when they make meth.
Yeah.
I like when they break bad.
That was like the first episode.
If I had an actual composer with the film, I could have had different, like, moods to those leitmotifs. Because I think the soundtrack is fine. I think it really could have been enhanced if I had a good composer.
What other films would you say inspired this, and are there any directors that directly influenced this project in particular? Or if you want to go even broader than that, like what directors inspire you to continue making film?
I was almost said Ennio Morricone. He's a composer. He definitely inspires me. But Sergio Leone. I like Andy Tartakovsky. Like Primal and Samurai Jack were huge inspirations for this. Like those, not a lot of dialogue. Those kind of works. And then Sergio Leone also has a very similar style, where he has a lot of those scenes where there's not a lot of dialogue. And also Akira Kurosawa. I bet you notice a pattern with all of those. They have a lot of scenes in their films where there's not a lot of dialogue, and it's sort of that idea of a picture can say 1,000 words. And I love that form of storytelling. What filmmakers inspire you guys? Like, what do you guys? What
I
are you
wonder who
inspired by?
inspires Grog. I wonder.
Oh, could it be Edgar Wright, the best filmmaker of all time?
No, Michael Bay. Duh.
Oh,
But yes,
speaking of,
obviously, right.
actually, I actually am curious about this. Were there any actors that inspired you in like your performance in this, or did you kind of just build it from the ground up?
It's not about like who inspires you. It's about like when you're given a script, you just gotta like see what you're given, and just sort of imagine yourself in that position, and like sort of put your headspace in the mind of the character. And once you can do that, you develop the character.
Yeah, Sean put it good.
That's good advice, actually. I appreciate that.
I don't do that, but that's what I know you have to do.
You do that. Okay, wait, for everybody listening, I want you guys to know that Sean is like the acting coach, so don't listen to him when he says that he can't act.
You're a good actor, Sean.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Going back to your previous statement, any the directors that very inspire me, I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Steven Spielberg, obviously, Guillermo del Toro, and David Fincher are the big three.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is going to kind of be a weird question. I feel like you have asked this to me, Brog, or I've asked it to you, but do you enjoy watching movies or making movies more, or do you think they're both connected in a way?
They're connected, but I think like the thing is it's a circle because a good movie makes you want to make movies.
To add on to that, like you can't really know what you want to do unless you like watch a lot of movies. Like one of the biggest things I've learned, and like when I do start making more and more films, I'm gonna probably be prepared. Watching a lot of movies makes you figure out like what makes a quality film or what makes a poor film. Like you learn more about pacing, about structure, about character development, so you can sort of implement what you learn into your work.
There's another thing too. Like I've met a lot of people, surprisingly, that haven't seen a lot of movies, but for whatever reason are just naturally gifted with what they're given. Like quick shout out here, Anthony Denham, one of the best cinematographers I know. He goes to my school and he is incredible. Like he's seen the main stuff like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, but he hasn't seen stuff like The Social Network or stuff like that. But he's incredible. So I don't know.
And it's not about like watching a lot. You don't need to watch a lot. If you watch just like a few movies every once in a while, and they're movies you really, really love, and you're inspired in that sense, then I think it doesn't really matter. Like you watch what you like, you know what you like, and then you like apply what you know and like, and that's how you doing that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
You do get better by making stuff and not by watching stuff.
And I don't think.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I don't think one is more fun than the other. I think they're both equally fun because in the end, our career is going to be our hobby, and that is the best way to put it.
I was gonna say I think making them is more fun because I think the satisfaction from completing something you made is a lot better than watching a movie.
Yeah,
that's partly because like I'm addicted to editing. Eric, you must feel the same way because you finished editing this film in like an insanely short amount of time.
Yeah, I was literally playing Mario Kart my Switch and editing, and then eating, sleeping, and pooping. That was my Christmas break. I'm not even joking. That was my life for a solid week. Because my computer broke down right before Christmas break, and I was fortunate to get it back. And by then, I was so eager to tear into this project.
Being in the editing room and just like ignoring everything and just being in the zone, like when it's something you really love and something you really want, and you're just in the zone, it's like the best feeling.
Exactly.
Should probably get back to
we probably should.
How long is this so far?
Yeah, we're 19 minutes in.
Oh.
It was him.
It would not be a film with Sean in it if he was not singing. And I freaking love this transition because you're whistling the same song he was just singing.
Yeah, I don't know how that lines up because I'm supposed to be in mute, but I whistle.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's a problem.
It lines up so perfectly. I didn't tell you to whistle that at all. It's one of those happy little accidents.
Yeah.
Is it just an impossible thing? Can you not whistle when you're mute? Because I thought it was a thing. You can still whistle, but you can't like
Well,
speak.
if you're like, because we can see like him, like he makes noise. He just, I guess you could say he chooses not to speak. Like there's a part of him holding him back from speaking. But he can still whistle and he can still like make noise and whatnot.
But yeah, but even beyond that, I was watching The Shape of Water the other day. Perfect movie, by the way. Don't judge me. And you can see the main character of that film, if you don't know, is mute. And you see her whistling in one scene. So I think like it is a thing you're allowed to whistle, but like you can't.
Oh, sick. Okay, because I was concerned about that.
I want to go back a little bit and just admire that rainbow lens flare. I love that.
That's pretty good.
That's beautiful, mate. And it's also rainbow, so yay!
Yeah.
You know, I actually drew all the graffiti for this scene.
Brog was our artist on set.
I wish I dragged this out a bit more. I think if there was one thing I would drag out a bit more, it just worked better with cutting from that shot to this one because you're rising up and you go a bit faster. I wish I took a bit more time with you slowly walking towards him. I feel like that could have created an emotional resonance, like a better emotional connection.
Yeah.
Look, if this is some kind of practical...
And this also has my biggest logical flaw with the film.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
if we're thinking the same thing, I would have cut right as he turned his head. In retrospect,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had him react so much because I feel like that kind of kills the pacing of the scene. Originally I thought by dragging it out, like you would brace for that big moment. Like what is he warning him about? What is he looking around for? But you're absolutely right. There would be no way that Sean would have to be deaf to not hear Brog trying to warn him.
Yeah, not even just that. One, it's logically flawed because I'd be able to see him out of my peripheral.
Exactly.
And I'd be able to at least like see what he was doing. And Brog not doing anything in that scene, like instead of trying to warn me when he knows he can't speak, is also a logical flaw. He should have at least tried to tackle the Strider, even if it like terrified him and he didn't know what it was. Like he should have like at least tried.
Or at least ran up and like tried to push you out of the way or something.
Yeah. Like, I'm not hating on the film. It's just the scene is very...
I absolutely agree. I think this would have been fixed if I had just cut sooner, so I think this is one of my editing mistakes.
Or had me die in, like, a different way. Like, if you had the Strider, like, running up on me or from behind Brog, so Brog didn't have time to react, it would have, like... You could have killed me in, like in a multitude of different ways, it would have made sense with the film.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like the way you die, boy.
I like the way you die, boy. Brog just watched Django Unchained.
I also love this review.
I'm always watching Django Unchained.
That explosion
Quick
was
comment.
a lot funnier in the...
Quick comment, that explosion was the funniest shit in the first cut of this film.
Because I freaking used that, like...
The PNG of the explosion.
That, like, MLG explosion. It was hilarious. Me and Sean...
How'd you fix that? Did you just find a better, like, version of the...
I found a better explosion sound effect and a better explosion green screen. And it works a lot better, I think.
I agree.
We should have used actual explosives. Actually, we did. Didn't we use actual explosives?
We did use actual explosives, but we cut that part out so we wouldn't be implicit in a crime.
Let me count my fingers real quick. 1, 2, 3. Stub. Okay, yeah, we used.
Yeah, we did.
Stub.
I think I might be missing a few toes with that. I'll have to count that later.
Oh, hey, chapter 3 is the same amount of your fingers, Eric.
Yeah, look at that. It's all connected.
You're funny, Brogdon.
I'll tell you guys where the external audio recorder falls into the water.
Oh crap! I totally forgot about that part.
Yeah. It's a great shot, by the way.
Yeah, this is.
And the
really
next one.
Yeah. What was it like walking through all this? I gotta say real quick
Right
too.
there.
Right there.
Yeah. Also, was wet.
I
my boots
applaud
actually
you.
held up pretty well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep, I see it right there. I applaud you for getting as dirty as you did. Like, I'm very appreciative of that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
This-
That was the
this
thing that like,
fucking-
I insisted. Eric was like, "Oh, you don't have to do it." I was like, "No, I'm gonna go, but just set up the camera."
this fucking shit and the Winger Chic beach stuff. Like, did I want you to go all the way, like, to sit down in it, or was that your idea? I forget.
That was you didn't tell me to, but I just assumed that I would. I don't, but like I knew like either even if you told me to, or even if you didn't, I was probably gonna do it anyway.
And to my understanding, that water was ridiculously cold. So
Freezing.
Yes.
so you not reacting like it's freezing cold is really, really well done.
And I got a funny story after that scene plays, so I'll wait to tell it then. It was right after we were filming it. When you fell here, like, I mouth the words, like, holy shit. And then it cuts before then, but you fall again here, and I totally break. I'm like, oh my god, you absolute madman.
I'm more amazed that he walked all the this walked
You know
all
what my
the
biggest feat is? This is real blood.
Yeah, real blood.
Eric told me to stab myself for this scene.
Yeah, it was real blood.
Brog is really committed to this role.
What blood type are you?
A positive.
A positive.
Unlike my grades. Dude, I look so gross. Like overall.
I think you're perfect for that world, but I kind of have
Yeah.
to agree.
Yeah.
Can I also say that after the scene where I got murdered, all three of us went to the 99 after that and had to clean
Yes.
ourselves up in the public
Yes.
bathroom.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
It was a little awkward.
We
That's a 99 though,
and
so-
said, "I'll have one rare steak, please."
We gotta go back here, man. This is such an awesome location.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that Rutland location, that prison camp, and definitely this. So you may see those.
I
I
mean,
got to Eric's house and he was like, "Alright, type in Clinton Tunnel," and then I was like, "It says it's an hour away," and Eric was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, okay."
And I just love how he disappears into the bokeh here. I love that. This stuff was all in Breakheart, all this wood stuff. This and the stream stuff.
yeah, we gotta go back to Breakheart.
The trails are gorgeous, especially there's like this
Yeah.
ridge called Hawk Mountain where you can see the skyline of Boston. It's so cool.
That's a real gun, by the way.
Real gun.
That's a real person, by the way.
Is a real person. A little.
Eric actually beats the shit out of me in this scene.
You're not being a good enough actor. Bam, bam, bam.
I'm
gonna make a man out of you. A little bit of inspiration for this, that whole punch and that roll. I watched a few action movies while I was in Maine, and I noticed that at points they'll deafen all the audio and just have like a sound effect, like a reverberation play of like, say, a gun hitting the ground, and then a boom where he rolls. And I was kind of inspired by Transformers, I regret to say, with this. Because the first movie is kind of a guilty pleasure. I love it.
It's not. I wouldn't even say it's a guilty pleasure. I'd just say it's a pretty good movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Not terrible. Like, there are worse Transformers movies, obviously. And also, can I just say, I'm glad you didn't do like a shaky cam, like super like cut like action sequence. You can act. It's a lot. Like, you do have some.
There's a lot
nice,
of readability. Yeah.
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 It looks a lot better. Oh, get stabbed.
Eric had seen a Watch Mojo video about Stanley Kubrick, so he actually did stab me 127 times for this.
I legitimately believe that.
Also, a little fun Easter egg for all you eagle-eyed fans. You can tell what day we're filming judging by the length of Brog's beard. So
Yeah.
this here, Brog's beard is much shorter, but the reshoots, which was the last stuff we shot, let me find a good part of it. I wish I did better with the color grading here too. You can kind of see that his beard's long here, and then
Yeah, it's a little darker.
I mean,
Yeah,
blinking,
you
blinking.
knocked my beard off and that. Got the double chin.
Yeah, I have
I
it
live
too.
for the good double chin.
You had to throw yourself on the rock so many times. There was glass too. I'm so sorry.
I forgot how.
Glass shards. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
They were especially apparent at this location.
Oh,
I'm so
jeez.
sorry.
Dude, people are fucking savages.
A lot of beer drinkers in Wakefield.
They're smashing beer bottles. Like, what do you think? Someone's gonna crawl on this? It's gonna be fine.
And then, obviously, I was inspired by Breaking Bad for this.
Wait, you like Breaking Bad, Eric?
No, I actually don't like Breaking Bad. I just like this one part of it, where
Oh, fair.
Hank basically, he's loading the bullet and he shoots one of the Salamanca cousins. Spoilers.
Get ice.
And I was inspired by that for this. So I feel like in that sense the fight scene turned out well, but I feel like we should have definitely done a bit more rehearsal with the fight scene. I feel like that could have saved us a bit more time, but like I said, we didn't have a lot of time as it was.
I really like that shot where the blood goes on the camera.
Yeah.
That was Kyrie standing off screen, just
Flicking
like with
flicking the blood in the...
flicking the blood. Yeah, shout out to the kids in the back.
Yeah. Represent.
I actually was bleeding, and then Eric just poured red Hershey syrup on my shirt, and I said, "Hey,
It's
Eric."
aesthetic. It's aesthetic. It calls back to Alfred Hitchcock's...
He said that blood doesn't look real enough. I said, "But Eric, it is real."
Here comes my second logical flaw with the movie.
And I have a good explanation for it, I feel like. Or a decent explanation. I wouldn't say good.
Yeah, decent.
I feel like this is... I feel like this is the most controversial part of the film, personally. But it's sort of that connecting tissue.
I do not buy for 1 millisecond that this asshole could walk with that much blood dripping from his abdomen.
He doesn't care about the pain anymore, Sean. He's
One
walking.
thing that I regret is that I just straight up stopped limping, but I was just thinking about the water that I was gonna have to walk into.
Fair.
He's given... this is like his sanctuary. This is like...
I don't. I'm sorry.
Maybe he died and he's in heaven. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. This is like his walk to heaven.
I hate all of you.
This is like in Gladiator.
There's an explanation for everything, Sean.
This
You're
isn't
gonna have to be
Gladiator.
better.
This is real
No, not
life.
to go run my hands to the weeds like in Gladiator. It's Gladiator.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Exactly.
Watson,
This is his walk to heaven. He's at the pearly gates.
Sean, I guess you could say you're not entertained.
I'm not.
Oh. See, look, it's all overexposed, and that's not a
That's not
production
an accident.
mistake. That's not an accident. This is on purpose. In retrospect, I probably should have brought down the whites a bit. This is a little too much. Yeah, like, see, like, this kind of white's perfect, I think. I feel like that previous shot was a little too bright.
I think this is way too bright. I thought that.
Is this scene a masterpiece or does it suck? Vote now on your phones.
This was
But-
also originally a oneer that I cut up because it was a bit too long.
Yeah,
I would have preferred the oneer, but you know what?
It was
Cut
4
it.
minutes.
the
and
one was too long.
It was way too long. It was like 4 minutes.
That's perfectly fine.
But we literally were like, we're only doing this once. There's no way we are doing this again.
I should have dipped my whole head in. That wasn't me dipping my head into the water. That was me like lowering my head, like, oh, I got stabbed or whatever, you know.
Lowering your head, like, yeah.
I have to ask, what do you guys think of the music of this scene? Do you think it works because it connects back to, or it calls back to that chapter 1 part where he's listening and dancing to that music?
I don't know. I thought this worked.
I thought it was fine.
Okay. Do you think it could have been better though?
I don't know how.
That's
You
kind
need
of,
something. It would have to be like something specifically scored for the scene, which is impossible at this stage in our careers.
Also, I wanted to get into that funny Bill story. So after we filmed that whole thing, me and Brog were walking back to our car, or to his car. And our car. What is this, communist Russia? Saw you, say the sheep. Basically, we were walking back with all the props and whatnot. We were soaking wet. It was freezing cold. It was windy. And we get back. Brog hands me the keys. Or I think you had the keys. I forget who had the keys.
I don't remember. We argued about who had them.
Yeah, and then we were like, okay, where are the keys? I want to start the car and get the heat going. We spent 10 minutes trying to find them. Soaking wet, freezing cold. They were in the back seat the entire time with the other props. Ugh.
Thank you, Sean. That was apt.
Like, what do you see in this film that you feel like could have been better, or do you feel like was not as good as it should have been, and you think with a bit more time in the oven it could have been great?
It was, I don't know if with a scene like with a film like this, if improvisation worked in his favor, it could have. I don't know how it would have looked with storyboarding, but I think next thing should be storyboarded.
Yeah. One thing I am definitely not doing again is jumping straight into production, because this film proved to be, it tested a lot of me. There's a few things I learned from this. I'm at the very least writing a shot sheet. I was literally improvising shots on the spot, and it works, but it's not the kind of filmmaking I like, and it wasted a lot of time. Another thing too, I need to stop acting in my films, because I am a cinematographer and director. I am not an actor. Clearly. I need to focus more on my strengths. And I think it's fine to cameo in my films if I have a small role, but I can't be Ben Affleck and direct, star, and write. It's too much.
What is
A
this?
composer would be nice, and some more actors would be nice.
Indeed. I think with more crew, too, I would have appreciated a script supervisor, like just someone recording audio at the very least. Or
I've been getting into lav mics. I appreciate lav mics now.
Yeah, lav mics are great. You have to be careful with them, though, because they're omnidirectional and they can pick up just about everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what ADR is for.
Yeah. I want to get better with microphones and whatnot. Like I said, microphones are not really my strong suit. My strong suit's obviously, I feel like in my my camera work and I guess my directing. I don't know. I don't know if I was a good director. I don't know if I was too much of a jerk.
I think that's the job, though. You can't afford to when it's your time and your project, you have to do what you need to do, but you also have to be you can't be too nice, but you can't be too mean. It's
That's
perfect.
fair.
I think you
That's fair.
pretty encapsulated. You have a job to do. Everyone's there to do a job. You're trying to work, and you're given what you're given, and you have what you have, and that's just what you have to do.
Yeah. And another thing too, I can't do everything myself. There's too much that I did myself. Like I said, I need to really build a crew. I think the three of us are really, really awesome. We are a great crew together. And Kyrie, of course. Wonderful, wonderful Kyrie.
And Sean, you're also great.
We need to build a team. I said the three of us.
I know, I'm just saying.
I definitely want to have a script supervisor, because I learned with my friend the Collector that they're a big help. I mean, I didn't know how to line scripts until Evan Garone showed me, so I appreciate that. Another quick shout out to him. I think definitely with a bigger crew and maybe more actors, I feel like this could have been a bit better. I really could have focused more on scale, focus on my strong suits as opposed to kind of dipping my toe in everything and having some stuff be substandard and some stuff be exceptional. What would you say, just from working on this project, that you would improve with other films with this project?
Literally, I just think storyboard, and rehearsal for where it's necessary. But obviously, this wasn't dialogue heavy, so
Yeah.
But,
Even with rehearsals, I feel like those non-dialogue performances could have been even better than they were. Not to say they were awful, they were exceptional, but I feel like they could have been masterfully done, I think, if we'd done a bit more rehearsal. And I'm once again very appreciative that you did so much improv on your part to really bring that character to life.
ain't no thing, chicken wing. Cut that out. Cut that out. Cut that out of this.
No, that's going in.
Kind of going off on what we've already discussed, pre-production, I think you needed a little bit more time in pre-production, definitely.
I agree.
You needed to make sure this was narratively sound and kind of bulletproof. And there are a few, like I said, during the screening, there are a few logical flaws, and you need to make sure everything was set and solid, and you need to make sure reactions were planned. And not saying Brog did a great job, he did an excellent job improvising on the fly. But I think if you had like we've been saying, a lot more time in pre-production could have made this
I agree. I think, especially with the fight scenes I think I should have had a bit more rehearsal. There was a lot of lines from Sean that I cut that he kind of had to improvise on the fly. Obviously he was reading the script, but I feel like
that's also on me too. I should have been a little bit more I could have been a little bit more
No, I kind of disagree with that, because I know you're a very talented actor, and I know if I give you enough time to prep, I know you can really nail it. And I feel like I definitely should have given you that time. But for what you did, I think you did an excellent job too.
Appreciate it.
And those fight scenes especially, I feel like if we had practiced those ahead of time as well, like I said, nothing we could really do, but in a hypothetical scenario where we did have more time, I would have loved to nail those fight scenes. Actually, this is kind of just repeating what I just said with dipping my toe in everything. I wish I gave a bit more time with the cinematography as well, because as opposed to having a blend between those more personal shots and the wide sweeping shots, which I like, I feel like I could have perfected it a bit more so it had just one style as opposed to a blend between those kind of two. And I could have avoided that shake at the very beginning where Brog's walking on the wall that Sean does not like.
Don't like it.
It'll get him every time.
Every time.
So I think that will do it. I appreciate you all for watching, for bearing with us. This has been Eric Bielakiewicz with Michael Brogdon, director of Nerd Wars, and the star of my film, The Wanderer, and Sean Sanguinet as the Settler, or Sean.
Just some guy. I'm just some guy.
Just some guy. Future director of Somewhere Only We Know, which is a short film that is coming soon.
Coming to a theater near you.
Coming to a theater near you.
Smash that fucking like button and subscribe down below.
If you made it this far, go to the comment section and type hemorrhoids, and we'll give it a like.
And also, peanut butter and jelly? Or peanut butter and jelly, but this time with strawberry jam. What's on the other peanut butter and jelly? That's up to you to decide.
These hard-hitting questions and more on Sean's new podcast, the Sanguinet Variety Hour.
And don't forget to watch the new hit show Bizarre Vark, only on Disney Plus.
Starring Jake Paul or Logan Paul.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.